Hey y'all, welcome to today's reading, which is bringing through messages from the ancestors. They are coming through with messages around your roots, messages for reconnection, for understanding, for seeing what you're carrying that isn't yours, that may be connected to your ancestors, as well as they are coming in to help lift the veil so that you can see more clearly. And I have messages for each pile. For pile 1, we have Ruby. For pile 2, we have Blue Appetite. And for pile 3, we have Angel Phantom Quartz. So please use your intuition, take what resonates from these readings and leave the rest. Take a moment to see which pile is standing out to you, and I will see you at your selected reading. Hello, pile 1. If you chose the ruby, this is your reading. So we will go ahead and start with the tarot cards, and we're going to end with the last message from the Enchanted Map Oracle. So I'm going to set that aside. But let's go ahead and see, before we get into the tarot, we will start with the messages that came through in meditation for you. So the first thing I saw for you, pile 1, was an evergreen tree, like a Christmas tree. And the feeling that I got is that the ancestors were saying that wisdom is always available to you, that you are not alone, and that there's always abundance and resources to be had. There's always a strength or resilience available to you, pile 1, through the support of the ancestors. Just like evergreen trees are evergreen, so are all these things for you. And I feel like for some of you, there may be a connection to Northern Europe. It was kind of the vibe I was getting from the imagery. Now, some of you, maybe that's not your direct ancestry, but you could be drawn to something about, those people or the culture, religions, things like that. I did feel that the winter time was maybe important. I kept seeing a lot of snow, and I also saw a circling hawk, or maybe a falcon, some type of big bird of prey, and it was circling, and I really could see its talons, and it was like it was timing its attempt to capture something. So there was something about timing and circling and waiting for the perfect moment. Connected to the snow, there was a sense of like a clean slate. At the same time, this clean slate could feel somewhat daunting, almost like a little bit too bare. But the ancestors were saying that that feeling is temporary. So there's something maybe in your life that feels a little bare, like very maybe overwhelming in its freshness. And there's something to do with the hawk and the timing of it all. And the ancestors just are there to support you through this. The message I got around it was that the ancestors will be like a fire keeping you warm through those cold nights. They are connected with you through the spring, where you will see the fruits of your labor finally, like emerging from the snow. I also saw a ruby gemstone, which inspired the ruby for your pile, but it was like a cut gemstone. And feeling into it, it was like a balance between the root chakra and the heart chakra, the combination of stability and security, but also love and passion and connection and growth. And I feel like the ancestors here are holding you in that space between stability and security and the love and the growth. I got some sense that there might be a feeling of unraveling, and the imagery that came through was like a ball of yarn or something, like kind of a tangled mess of threads, and I heard pulling at the thread. So there's maybe something here, and it felt emotional, maybe related to something of that nature, that there's a thread being pulled. And so there is that sense of unraveling, but in that, the result is more clarity, that this will bring you more clarity. And so I do feel like that could be connected to the timing as well. And then finally seeing maybe what you are working on or hoping for actually come to fruition. And the timing could be important too, like maybe as we're going into winter in the northern hemisphere, we are, going to have a few months where we don't see the fruits. And so there could be a timing thing, like maybe what you want to happen will take place in a few months as the spring starts to come in. So take what resonates and leave the rest. But let's go ahead and get into the tarot cards first to kind of see the context of what Spirit wants to bring up. What does Spirit want to call your attention to? And how are they supporting you? So we have the Eight of Swords, we have the Emperor, and we have the Empress. Wow. So the first thing that I'm feeling is with the Eight of Swords, the overwhelm of this image, particularly in this deck. There is quite a bit of chaos. This person has been hard at work, and they seem to be at a point where they are overwhelmed and they are starting to, second guess, to have that self-doubt, to feel maybe stuck, like maybe there's a block here. I'm thinking, writer's block. But it could have gotten to the point where you're maybe starting to believe it, that there is this block. And I feel like with Emperor here, this is such an interesting contrast, because the Emperor is in this image like very organized, very on top of things, aware of a deadline, and there's a lot of structure. And I'm wondering if for some of you, there is something you've been working on, developing, and you have been very dedicated and maybe a little bit more strict than is natural to you, or you feel like you have to abide by this particular way of approaching a project of some sort, or maybe in a broader sense, your life in general. There's this expectation with the Emperor that you need to show up in a certain way. And maybe it worked for a while, because I feel like you have gotten a lot done with the Eight of Swords. and you have these ideas, but there's some block maybe around this, because now instead of aiding you, there's some component here that is not allowing you to be free in your creativity. And maybe this adherence to the schedule as well is not, it's not allowing the energy to flow, and that there needs to be that divine timing that came through in the messages before. It does feel like you need to take time away from whatever this is that's got you questioning things, that if you can step away and not maybe be so rigid and trying to kind of force something that isn't happening to happen, because it's actually creating more chaos, it seems, in the mind, in your conceptualizing is that a word, of whatever this is and how you relate to it. This could be that whatever project you're on, as you've dug more deeply into it, or maybe it's something you're wanting to learn, or you're learning, and you're pulling that thread, and it's feeling like as it's unraveling more and more chaotic. It's not as contained within, whatever it was. It's a metaphor, but now it feels much more chaotic, and you're in that limbo almost of waiting for it to make more sense. And you're trying to make sense of it, but there is this, I think what the ancestors are saying is this, there's this natural rhythm to the world, to nature, that we also are part of nature, so we must account for it too, that there needs to be some time of just openness, of being okay with waiting, with having that patience, as well as the understanding that in time things will move forward, things will progress. And with the Empress here, there is that progression to the spring. I mean, what other better imagery is there for springtime than the Empress? And in this case, there's gardening. It's finally seeing things bloom, and trusting that what's unfolding, what's being created, is needing this time to unfold and become what you want it to be. And going back to the message in the beginning, I'm seeing the Emperor as the root chakra and the Empress as the heart chakra, and that there has to be this balance in between. And so the ancestors are here to help you find that, because of course you want the stability, the structure, the security of the Emperor, what that brings. But you can't have too much to the point where it doesn't allow for growth. But if you have too much growth, it can become overwhelming and too chaotic, so you can follow your passions but really not be able to achieve anything if you don't have some structure. So there's a balance here that's needed, that the ancestors are bringing up to you, and I do feel like you're going to find that sense of balance and a reconnection to what it is, and you'll see more clearly if you give yourself some time to rest, to step away, and to not just get caught up, like entrapped. If you think of the traditional Eight of Swords, you won't get entrapped in that energy and start to kind of see those see this project or what you're wanting. I keep going back to project because it's kind of in this card, but it could be really anything in your life. But it's become all consuming or too limiting to you at this point. And so maybe you need a break from that. But let's see what else is going on here. I have a card from Moonology to see what kind of energies are at play. Your commitment is being tested, first quarter moon. So yeah, pile one. I do feel like this is related to especially the Eight of Swords in this case, that you're getting to that point where you're starting to question, am I really gonna be able to get through this and make this work? And your ancestors are saying, this is just a moment. This is temporary. This is not forever. This is the blanket of snow that is overwhelming, but know that there are things happening behind the scenes that maybe you can't see at this point, and there is some trust here. There's absolutely some trust here. And this may be hard to come by, and I almost wonder if there is maybe some ancestral trauma or something around trust and being vulnerable and not having to feel like you are in control at every moment. That is coming up for maybe some of you. And so they're saying, this is an opportunity for you to trust us so that we can learn to trust each other. It's like a mutual thing. Like, they will benefit from you trusting this process as it unfolds, and they want to help you. Absolutely. So I also have the spirit messages here. Okay, and we have be proud. It's time to celebrate all that you've achieved, all that you are, and all that you will become. Every once in a while, it's important to stop and acknowledge what you've achieved and to be proud. Ooh, yes. Pile one, because there is so much that has been done in this situation. You have done so much. And have you really given yourself the time to appreciate where you are with it? Or are you so focused on the outcome that it's now just feeling like a burden? Like, when will this be done? When will I get there? And so the ancestors are like, we are proud of you. Can you give this to yourself? Can you be proud of it? Because maybe for some of you, like I said, you're starting to feel doubt around it. But it's not true. It's not true. The doubt and those thoughts, they are those, limiting beliefs. They're the critic voices coming in your own mind, possibly, or maybe there could be people in your life who maybe aren't as supportive. Like, they don't really get it. They don't get the process of it and all the work you've done. So to try not to let that get to you, because truly you should be proud. You should feel this accomplishment with everything you've put into this, and to know that it's coming. It is absolutely coming. So don't doubt that. Let's look at the Angels and Ancestors card here. We have Autumn, release the old and rest. Yeah, so here's this interesting balance of staying committed to what it is you are going through, what you're working on, what you want. The project that you're diving into is not going to suffer if you take a break. And the situation, maybe you approached it in a way that you would have in the past. Maybe that could be the Emperor. Maybe it could be from the viewpoint of the Empress. But if it's old and not really advantageous to you now, that maybe that's what could be dropped. and to find like a better balance between these two energies of the Empress, of the Emperor, of structure, and of, freedom to just be open. With the Empress in the traditional Rider-Waite tarot, she would be resting, right? So it could be about finding that where you can, and knowing that you can trust that the outcome is still assured. So let's go ahead and look at your final message. Okay, and we have the first card, which is Bone Collector, and I will read from the book. You are whole and have everything you need within. When the Bone Collector appears, she is asking you to look closely at your circumstances to see if you're fully present or reacting out of past conditioning and unconscious expectations. Whenever we're wounded, especially when we're young, it's as if something essential is stolen from us. We adapt and accept a version of the truth that then sets us up to behave a certain way in the future when faced with a situation similar to the original event. What we know about ourselves thus becomes influenced by a perception of limitation. You may feel unworthy or without courage. You may see yourself as flawed or unlovable or expect to be criticized. The Bone Collector reminds you that the truth is that you are a powerful being with limitless possibilities. She has kept safe what was stolen from you in the wounding and is here for you as you reclaim it now. You have everything you believe you lack, and the Bone Collector is your inner resource. Act as if you have what you need, and you'll find you have it after all. Anything is possible. With awareness, the wounds of the past need not define you. The past has a way of repeating itself when you haven't learned the lesson of the original situation. You're faced with this now. The Bone Collector challenges you to see yourself as a whole being and not one who is perpetually trying to heal an old wound. You'll repeat the past if you don't reclaim the things you believe were lost. The information you seek lies in your history. Familiarity, in this case, isn't an invitation to dance the old dance once again. It is a call to retreat and choose differently. The Bone Collector has a message. If you do what you did, you'll get what you got. Her warning is delivered with kindness, for she has deep love and respect for you. She will protect you. Wow. Yes, so again, what's old and not truly you can be dropped. So you could find that there is this connection to some wounding, either within yourself and your life, but also it could be ancestral. And so energetically, you will want to acknowledge this and shed it, to release it, give it back. It's not yours, and know that, again, you have all these resources available to you, and your ancestors are supporting you in finding those or acknowledging that they're there and then utilizing them. I do feel like they are working with you, they're around you, and there to help you in every way. And I'm specifically hearing like clarify your ideas. So I feel like they're helping you, especially within your mind. So it could be hard to tell maybe when they're there, but if you again take that moment to rest, to tap into your intuition, to quiet that monkey mind, that overwhelmed, critical mind, I feel you will hear your ancestors, you will get a sense of them, a knowing of them, and a realignment, some clarity about where you are, and you will feel their support deeply, Pile 1. I hope this message was helpful for you. I appreciate you watching. And if you want to see more from me, then please hit that subscribe button, give it a like if you liked it, and until next time, bye, Pile 1. Hi, Pile 2. If you chose the blue appetite, this is your reading. And I have some cards already pulled, and I'm going to just set aside the final message from the Enchanted Map Oracle. And before we get into the cards, I'll give you what came through for you in meditation before. So the first thing I saw for you, Pile 2, is a sunrise. And of course, the sense of a new dawn, an opening of a door, or even doors. It was so bright that at first this brightness felt overwhelming, but the ancestors showed me that they are giving you some cool new shades, some sunglasses to wear. So in a sense that these sunglasses are their wisdom to keep you grounded and focused. They have insights for you around your path, your calling. I heard that this was to heal others, to be way showers, to be teachers. The interesting thing about this is it wasn't specific, but it felt more like there could be so many ways that you are showing up and healing others. I also got a distinct impression that there were 3 paths, maybe like 3 doors for many of you, and the way it was shown to me was left to right, and it went from, very magnetic on the left to less so on the right. So there felt like there was a pull from left to right that kind of diminished. So the first path on the left felt the strongest. And so I'm not sure what that means to each of you, but the feeling I got is almost like a sense of acknowledging all the paths, all the doors, the opportunities in front of you, and standing there to take in the brightness, to take that pause, to assess or discern how you feel about each path, how each path feels to you. And I got the imagery of like a cloak being thrown or pulled around you, and the ancestors were saying to not cloak yourself, to not do that. And maybe that's some type of reaction to kind of close yourself off from this feeling part. Maybe your intuition or your feelings around this, that if you're doing this thinking, I need to approach this logically, it won't truly be logic, at least in my opinion and my understanding. To be the most logical, there has to be an acknowledgement of the feelings. There has to be an acknowledgement of that gut instinct, the intuition, that it is as important as the data, right? And so the ancestors are here to help you in that, to get connected to that, to these doors or opportunities. Also, I saw butterflies, so I felt like maybe your ancestors show up in your life in the symbol of butterflies. And I also saw tomatoes, and I don't know what that's about. It could be maybe somehow, maybe one of you out there is like, that makes sense, tomatoes. So I thought I'd throw that in because it seemed a bit random for that to come up. So let's go ahead and get into the cards, and we'll start with tarot just to see what they want to focus on, what they want to bring up for you, pile 2. Okay. So we have the Four of Pentacles, we have the Eight of Wands, and we have the Five of Chalices, the Five of Cups. The first thing that is standing out for me is around the Four of Pentacles, and traditionally in tarot, it would be, someone clinging to their resources, to their money, being maybe frugal or being really reluctant to let go of their money in any way for fear of losing. And so this imagery here is a bit different. There is pressure here with the pot on the stove that's kind of overflowing. There seems to be some exasperation, a little bit of overwhelm in trying to decide what to pull out of this cabinet. They may be a little unsure about what's here, wondering if it's enough. I'm getting that impression, like, do I have enough? Do I need to keep working? So there is this energy of questioning what to do next and deciding what is working or what isn't. So in looking at this relationship between the Four of Pentacles and the Five of Cups, I'm seeing this sense of fear around taking a risk, of letting go of what you have in order to potentially get more from that, to invest in something, to sacrifice what you have to get something better out of it. And with the Five of Cups here, there's maybe in thinking, right, is this worth it? Should I move forward with this? There's some emotional reaction around feeling like it won't happen for you. There's sadness, or there's really deep distrust on some level. There's some sense of hopelessness, maybe. And it feels like in some way, either now or in the past, you felt like you can't see the potentiality of the good, the outcome that could be good. Maybe there's a focus on, well, what could go wrong? What if this potentially bad thing happens? And maybe this actually hasn't happened yet, but there is a worry about if you go down some road, if it's wrong, that the outcome will be this. And so there's fear around it. There's that sense of like you're seeing these paths, but you are kind of cutting off from the feeling of it and trying to only look at it logically so as to not get disappointed, to not somehow end up here. But in doing that, you're not able to see the full picture. And I feel like that's what your ancestors, what spirit is wanting to help you with, and that giving you energetically these sunglasses, they're going to give you the wisdom and messages around your path that will clarify some things, will put some things into perspective, will offer new perspectives to you that maybe you don't have here or here. And that there's some, projecting out, worrying, projecting it out into the future. But Spirit wants you to be in the present, to be paying attention, because there are messages coming through. There is intuitive information here, and they are trying to communicate with you, that they have insights, right? That's what it felt like to me, is they have insights for you around your path and your calling, and that you are meant to heal others, which I relate also to the Five of Cups, because as you heal yourself, you heal others. And maybe this is already you, that you are already receiving these messages and you are feeling drawn to healing others, to help others around you that are in this emotional state. But maybe there's uncertainty of how to do that. Like, which path do I choose? One feels I'm more drawn to, but logically it doesn't quite make sense. Logically, the expectations. Like, maybe there's some things holding you back and you just haven't quite committed. And this particular image of the Eight of Wands is so powerful that we have this person almost drawing down the energy of Spirit, of utilizing it to create something here. So Spirit is saying, we can help you harness and channel all that brightness to make it worthwhile to you. So it's not just overwhelming, because there is a new dawn here. There is brightness in your life if you can work with your ancestors to see it as this and not just something overwhelming or too much, too risky, too scary. Let's look at Moonology to see what energy is here for you. Ooh, we have a question. What do you need to release? Waning moon. And so at the time I'm recording, we are either at a full moon or approaching. So we will have a waning moon here in a bit. So you could tap in to see if there is something that you can release at this time. This, to me, with what was coming through, is releasing fear around the future and fear of, and like, investing in yourself, in sacrificing something to have an opportunity open up to try it out, to kind of risk it, to see if that feels right to you. There's something here about needing to release those old limiting beliefs and kind of reactions, possibly around money, like with that being the Four of Pentacles. There may be fear that it could strain your finances, but Spirit is here to help you release maybe some of that. Again, because these are the ancestors coming through, there could be some ancestral trauma around money, around lack, and that kind of just being there from the start, like kind of an extra burden of questioning if you will have enough. And Spirit, your ancestors want you to be able to release that and not have to carry that forward anymore, and then they will heal from that as well. So this is from the Spirit messages. We have self-love. Now is the time to love, nurture, and heal yourself. Self-love is not simply a state of mind about feeling good. It's a state of appreciation for yourself that grows and matures from actions you take to support your body, mind, and soul. Yeah, so for some of you that are in this Five of Cups energy, there could be this sense of unworthiness, like a deep unworthiness and kind of sadness around feeling like you're telling yourself you can't take these opportunities. You can't follow the path that you want to because you don't deserve it in some way. And this could be financial. You feel like you don't financially deserve it. You don't deserve abundance. You don't deserve the happiness that would come from taking the path that draws you to it the most. And so to start to release that is through self-love. It is through allowing yourself to be, allowing yourself to receive. We most get the sense of allowing yourself to breathe in fully, to release your breath fully. Maybe there's something about you connecting to spirit through breath work. And really here, with this being fire energy with wands and sitting right in front of the solar plexus, this could be very important. If you breathe in, breathe into your belly, really start to fuel that area of your solar plexus where your confidence in yourself and who you are can start to form, if it's not there to the extent it should be. As you do this, as you dedicate, more time to yourself, you will start to see that there are more cups available to you and that you are worthy of those that are there. Let's look at the Angel and Ancestors Oracle. We have Arrow, surround yourself with protective energy. Yeah, it's like with the self-love, there is this almost like cocoon energy that you need. And can you give yourself this? Can you ask others in your life to give you that kind of safe space to take that pause and to get some clarity around your feelings and those thoughts that run through your head around you moving forward? I do feel like you need to create this space so that you can do this inner work, so that you can be connected to spirit and heal this. Like maybe there are people who just emotionally aren't good for you, that maybe take your energy, they take your, it's not even necessarily taking of your energy. I feel like they're putting it onto you. I feel like you get saturated and weighed down by other people's energy, their low energy, being pulled into a space that you then lose your higher connection, your higher self connection, and then things start to get feeling scary and confusing and limiting. But know that spirit is here supporting you and saying there is a new dawn. This isn't forever, and they are here to help you through this. And that you don't have to just rely on yourself for this, right? They're helping you connect to their wisdom. That you have this path laid out in front of you. It's a matter of believing it and believing that you're worthy of it. So pile 2, let's see what your final message is with the Enchanted Map. Ooh, you are being called, pile 2, to solitude. I'm going to read from the book. Solitude. I am comfortable in my own skin as I detach to replenish my soul. Meditation is required when you receive the solitude card as a sign. Empty your mind of superfluous thoughts and allow stillness to flow through your whole being. This is not an advantageous time to ask questions or push forward in any way. Rather, it's a period for conscious retreat. What's called for now is to step back and take your focus off of your life and your troubles. You'll be surprised by how things sort themselves out once you've replenished your energy by means of a much needed rest and time out. I'm going to read the reversed in case for some of you that resonates as well. So, too much solitude results in isolation and separation. Now is the moment to get together with friends and join in the merriment. Hiding out will lead to loneliness and negative thinking. Separation at this time isn't a healthy choice. Are you in a situation in which you feel alone? You need to share this, not keep it to yourself. By joining in with others, you'll hear what you need to know, because Spirit finds ways to speak through them without their even knowing it. You have the key to let yourself out of this prison. You are loved and never alone. So, pile 2, there is that sense of you needing a safe space, and that's with both the Arrow card and the Solitude card. You need a safe space, but you also need positive people around you who will be positive influences to you, that will see where you are, but also not put more pressure on you in some way, more emotional burden on you, that will support you in taking time for yourself. There is that balance here, and for you to get reconnected to your intuition, to your guides, to your ancestors, and that they may speak, again, like it said in Solitude, that through friends or people around you, Spirit's talking to you. Your ancestors are talking to you through them. So there is some releasing of, I feel what is, feeling unworthy, and to start to heal that part of yourself. I'm also just questioning with butterfly that came in, like that is symbolic of change, metamorphosis. And so you could be going through this, and so that could be a bit painful, right? You're going through a major transformation. And here, I'm looking at this, there's canned foods here, and I wonder if that was related to the tomato. Like, you are going through a time of really stocking up your resources, and it's a lot of work, and you're preparing for something, and Spirit's saying, like, it's okay to take some time to rest. Pile 1 also got a message around resting, pausing. And as we go into winter, that's really important, because that's what winter is all about, is taking a pause. So I wish you all the best. I hope that you find some clarity here, some reconnection, some healing, to know that you are worthy of these opportunities in front of you, the path in front of you. And I give you my love. If you want to see more from me, then please hit that subscribe button. If you liked this reading, then please give it a thumbs up. But until next time, bye, Pile 2. Hi, Pile 3. If you chose the Phantom Angel Quartz, this is your reading. And before we get into the cards, I'm just going to set the Enchanted Map Oracle card as the final message. It's over here. I will give you the messages that came through for you in meditation before this. For you, Pile 3, the first image I saw was of stacks of wood, like firewood, and it felt like what you have, whatever you have that is old or dried out, the ancestors are helping you to use that as fuel for transmutation, for transformation. Specifically, it felt like some type of transformation of, or into new areas of conceptualizing about yourself and the world, like how you see yourself or understand yourself, the concept of yourself in the world. There's something about actually using the old way to get to this new concept. So the ancestors will help you sort through what needs to be released, what needs to be gone through to be transmuted. And so this felt like they will tell you what needs to be used up as a fuel, or what just needs to be released. And so this could be inner work, but it also felt like it could be material. And so I got the sense of maybe going through someone's possessions someone's home, like clearing things out, like maybe there's a, winter cleaning that could take place. This could be, for relatives or family. You're taking part in that, and the ancestors are there too. And the metaphor that came through was of leaves falling from the trees, and that when this happens, it leaves room for the wind to pass through the branches of the trees. And as you do the inner work, as you clear out, a home, you are getting the room to breathe. And there was a sense of, with this open space, there's clarity here, there's guidance available that can come in now. I got the sense of the North Star in clear skies, like a clear night sky, looking up, seeing the North Star and feeling that guidance there. I did feel like there was new information coming in for you, pile 3, possibly a letter or some type of correspondence. I also got the image of rocks, and I wonder if the ancestors maybe connect with you through natural things like rocks. Maybe you collect them, maybe you pick up rocks. I like to do that. But I also felt like there was that sense of your ancestors providing a foundation for you through their wisdom that's like coded in these rocks. So maybe it's a little bit more of a metaphor, but the ancestral wisdom that's available to you is helping you build like a strong foundation for yourself. So let's go ahead and get into the cards, and we'll start with tarot to see what the ancestors want to talk about, what they want to bring up. Okay. Wow, you have some major arcana going on, pile 3. We have Lovers, we have the Sun, and we have the Hermit. With the Sun, straight away, this is the new concept to me. This is the new, this is the fresh. And there's also with the Sun that energy of fire and transmutation, the heat as a catalyst to start something new. And with the Lovers here, there is this interesting sense of a fresh start with a couple here looking at, a house that's for sale and possibly buying a house. And so there is this sense of taking some big steps in your life. I mean, that's a monumental stage in life where you would be, buying a house. So when the ancestors are coming in and saying they are helping you through this, they mean it. This is a big transformation. And whether this is maybe more literal or more in the material world, like you are making these big moves in career or partnership, maybe you are buying a house, something like that, the ancestors are helping you. They're helping you find harmony in that and finding the right thing, and then also in your understanding of yourself. Because the other thing with the Lovers is that harmony between the divine masculine and the divine feminine, and those parts of ourselves, because we all are both. It's just a way of looking at the energy. Maybe there is a deep transformation in this part of you and how you see that part of you as well. So this could be more on the inner and internal, emotional, whatever it is, part of you. But this is opening up to some beautiful positive changes in your life. And with here, there seems to be a lot of emotional connection in this imagery of the Sun. It reminds me a lot of the 10 of Cups traditionally. But there also here is, again, family. There's family, there's connection. And so maybe for some of you, as you're moving into the holiday season, a lot of us, we are spending time with family. And so there could be a shift in how you show up to others as well. and how you work with others in this new setting. Now, it does feel like with the Hermit, there is still that need to separate a bit from all of this. And I'm connecting it to that idea of like the leaves falling and leaving room, that as you clear out, as you start to transmute what isn't serving you or isn't making sense to you anymore, there will be this sense of freshness, a fresh start. New things can move in, right? But maybe there is some benefit to being open for a while, taking that time to sit in that energy of not having like a whole new, brand new, like, okay, this is what we're doing, and like rushing forward into something. This is an opportunity for you to really get to know yourself. And it's interesting because pile 1 and pile 2 both got messages around resting. And this Hermit card is very much a restful example, or an example of taking a rest, right? Of having that indulgence to let go, let the mind, the thoughts go, to drift off. There is more room to explore here, pile 3. And so as you open up, as there's some clarity coming in, that's where it feels like the new information or guidance can come in. Maybe some of you are actually waiting on news about a house, maybe there's some finalization coming in, and that can be quite a fiery, maybe almost stressful time. So Spirit is saying to remember to relax, but you're also going to be able to enjoy and adjust to this new environment or this new sense of self. I do feel like you, pile 3, are already quite connected to the ancestors, and that they do, I just keep seeing like their hands working with you, like with your hands. So just be open to that. If you haven't maybe noticed that yourself, you may find that you recognize the hands of your ancestors in your life once you start kind of like having an awareness that they could be there. So let's look at your Moonology card to see what kind of energy is here that we're working with. We have, you are good enough. Ooh. So with that, it is similar to pile 2, that there's a sense of knowing that you are worthy and good enough. And it feels like you've come farther in that process of knowing you are good enough, and that going back to the stacks of firewood, you have recognized what was old dead wood that needed to be cut, that needed to be trimmed from the trees. And you have started to, organize it and stack it. You've started to learn from those experiences and what you'd been through, right? And are ready to utilize them in a new way, to not let them define you anymore. And with Virgo here, I am connecting it to the Hermit. I'm also connecting it to the Lovers. There's this sense of balance here in the Earth energy. It's bringing in harmony. It's bringing in connection. I think the sense I'm getting is you are understanding yourself so much more deeply and truly feeling your worthiness to a level that you have not felt before. And it's just opening up what's coming in for you. It is truly fueling the fire energy of the sun. For your spirit message, we have, hello from heaven. Your loved ones in the spirit world want to connect with you as much as you want to connect with them. They know you've been thinking of them, and they're sending you signs and symbols to show you how much they love you, to prove they're with you at this time. Yeah, so their hands are coming in. It's their hands working with you, and really in a material way. Like, I wonder if you really get a sense of things showing up in your, daily life, very much manifest in a physical way. That if you notice something, if you question it, just trust that, yeah, if you're questioning it, it probably is your ancestors communicating with you. You have this beautiful balance, I think is where I was feeling this beautiful balance between the material, the earthly, the body, that earth element, and the spiritual with the hermit. You are in that lover's energy, that duality. You're bringing both together. You're very much aligned with spirit and open to spirit, but also with enjoying life here. And all that work you've been doing with the firewood, with the cleaning out, like this is all coming together because of that. That's what it feels like here. So let's look at your angels and ancestors. We have elder, move beyond ancestral patterns. And you are moving beyond ancestral patterns here. And that's why they are so, I feel like in some ways I'm getting the vibe that this is your ancestors in a way. Like they are so thrilled that you have taken these steps to clear out some of these patterns that were holding you back and that were holding them back too. I'm looking at this and I'm just getting that sense of you being almost, I don't want to make this sound weird, but like you are wiser than your ancestors. And like there's something about them acknowledging that with you, that you have taken this understanding, this beautifully balanced understanding of yourself as a spiritual being and a human being, and have gotten to this sweet spot. You're following your North Star, you're seeing that very clearly. And they are just here happy to help you build up that foundation to move forward. They want to be a part of this new start, this new you. Pile 3. So let's look at your final message from the Enchanted Map Oracle. We have 39, protecting treasure. I'm going to read from the book. You are always protected and divinely directed. Although this is a time of great risk, know that at a fundamental level, you are able to move forward safely and securely. The proverbial nest egg is safe and sound, no matter the fluctuations in the world. Guardian angels and other guides are whispering to you, making you aware of their protective presence. Your loyalty is an important theme now. Nurture that which you hold dear. This is a good time to strengthen bonds of friendship and ensure their integrity. If you feel tested right now, know that a true and loyal heart always achieves its aim. Take refuge under your angel's wing. You are not alone and have no need to fear. Embrace your courage. I'm going to go ahead and read the reversed in case this is relevant to some of you. Do you too easily give your loyalty to those who haven't earned it? This is a time to assess your personal loyalties and discern whether they're being returned in kind. Some relationships are made or convenience, and some favor one side over the other. Vulnerability born of fear may lead to being taken advantage of. Perhaps the imbalance in your relationship is due to a conscious choice you've made. If so, make sure you aren't being hurt by the arrangement. If you believe you've found some kind of protective refuge, be aware that there may be a price to pay. You may also need to reassess whether you're compromising yourself in any way to achieve what is an illusion of safety. Be true to your dream and remember that the angels will bring the right people your way to further the path of your highest good. Remain cautious and be conscious of the give and take in all relationships and projects at this time. Don't give away the farm for a smile. So pile 3, what stood out from that is that when you are balanced and seeing things not from a biased side, and I feel that you are here, you are in this balance with the Lovers here, with the Hermit showing up, but also the balance of the earth energy. Like I was saying, you are safe in this. And it's interesting because there's been a theme running throughout pile 1 as well, had a similar sense of balancing, being in a balanced state. And I feel like you are aware of this. And if you feel like you haven't been, just know that there is that ability for you to step into that and really feel secure as you're moving forward and making these big changes. That it doesn't have to feel scary in that way, and that your ancestors are here to support you and keep you safe and to not let you lose that footing, lose that foundation. That, I think that's what they're saying, is that the foundation is strong. Don't doubt that. And especially with the Hermit, to not let other people's energies and thoughts and things kind of cloud your understanding of where you are and what you want, right? The Hermit listens to that inner light, that intuition, that spiritual connection. So just remember that. Keep coming back to that, and that you are this balance. Pile 3, I don't know another way to say it. You have this wisdom and you have accomplished so much. It's time to enjoy that fire that you are starting. You've done all the hard work with that firewood. You get to light that fire and have, s'mores and just enjoy how far you've come, pile 3. So I hope this reading was helpful for you in some way. If you want to see more from me, then please hit that subscribe button. Give it a like. If you enjoyed this reading, I wish you all the best and I give you my love. Until next time, bye, pile 3.